Good morning. I think it's Friday. I think it's Friday today. um, well, I had this thought, and it was, we're always told spread your wings and fly, soar like an eagle. Are you soaring or not? Um, for a long time, for a long time, I held back. I had stuff within me that I could do, and I held back. And I didn't even know why I was holding back. And I took a lot of time to kind of unravel what was going on within me. And what I discovered was it was the thoughts in my own head that was stopping me. And I like to share. This is something I share once in a while with friends at work or um, people that are struggling sometimes with wanting to do something but not actually doing it. And it's like, how can I know what to do, I know how to do it, I'm just not doing it. Why is that? And I struggled with that myself. I'm like, what's the deal here? And there's an actual scientific experiment showing what happens with your thoughts. There is another, I don't think that it was considered a scientific experiment, but it was an example that was used. I can't remember. Maybe they did do it for science, but I do know we've seen it in a movie too. Um, it was had to do with football, and I think they had you had to like crawl from one spot. How far could you crawl? And they had a guy on the back, and they did it, and he got so far. And I don't know if it's the same person or the next guy. I think it was the same person as guy on the back, crawl. But one time, it's like, okay, I'm going to stop. Oh, so yeah. So it was all in the one thing. So he was like, crawl until you can't go anymore. The guy's on his back. And he's like, okay, I'm going to stop. And the guy's like, no, don't stop. So he's like, okay, I'll go a little bit further. And he's like, so he goes, oh, I can't do it anymore. I want to stop. And the guy's like, no, don't stop. You can do this. And he's like, okay, I'll crawl a little bit further. And he kept being encouraged by this guy on his back, like, don't stop, you can do it, I know it. And the guy's like, no, I can't go any further. And all of a sudden the whole team is there, like, no, you're almost there, keep going. And he kept going, keep going, and he kept going. So encouraging other people to keep going when they don't know how much further they got to go, they'll keep going. That was the one that stood out in my mind, that if you have this encouragement from others, you can keep going. However, back to the experiment that I was talking about, they had a weightlifter. The weightlifter, it was proven he had, I use my pen, he had this weight, and he could pick it up. How are they weightlifters? They pick it up, okay, with this weight on it. It was proven. He could lift this. And I'm going to make up some numbers because I don't recall the numbers, but let's just say this is 100 pounds. And that would, no, the weightlifter has to be able to lift more. Let's say 500 pounds. Okay, so he could lift 500 pounds. No problem. All right, or however they do it. Anyways, no problem. So he could lift this 500 pounds. And they blindfolded him and said, we're going to change these weights. And they had all these electrodes kind of hooked up to his muscles and his body. And I said, okay, we're going to change these weights. And they made a bunch of noise, like they maybe slid off the weights and did this and did that. So the guy is blindfolded. He doesn't know what the weights are. I said, okay, we've changed the weights. We've put it to 1,000 pounds. And the guy's like, whoa, I can't lift 1,000 pounds. Like, Well, have you ever tried? No. Well, how do you know you can't lift 1,000 pounds? Okay, I don't know if they actually said that, but I might have made that part up. But anyways, so they told him try to lift this weight. Meanwhile, they didn't actually change the weights, and he's like trying to lift this weight. He couldn't do it, and it was the same weight he had just lifted. And they're baffled. They're baffled with this experiment. Why could this guy not lift this 500 pounds that he just lifted previously? So they decided they actually were going to change the weights. So they said to him, okay, you can't lift this 1,000 pounds. We're going to reduce the weight. We know you can lift 500. We're going to put it to 600. So then they took the weights, and instead of 600 pounds, they put on, I'm going to say 1,000 pounds. And all of a sudden, they're like, they say, okay, the guy starts to lift it. Oh, it's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy. And they're like, he's like, I don't think I can do it. And they encouraged him. And I don't think I can do it. And they encouraged him. And all of a sudden, he was able to lift this weight, 1,000 pounds. And he did it. And they're baffled again. What is the deal with being able to lift the weight that he thought was less and couldn't lift the other weight that he thought was more, but it wasn't? Like, it's very strange. So, what they discovered through this experiment was your thoughts matter. Because what happened was, I'm just going to put my muscles up here. Check out my muscles. I'm going to move so you can see my arm. Okay. So if he needed this muscle and you move this muscle, there's another muscle that reacted against that muscle. So whatever his mind did, it was like, I can't lift that weight. And his mind made his muscles work against each other because they had all the electrodes on. And that's why he couldn't lift the weight, because his body was counteracting what he was trying to do. It's crazy what the mind can do. It's just incredible what the mind can do at the same time. So what does all of this have to do with soaring like an eagle? Because it's all in your mind, whether you can or whether you can't. And Henry Ford said basically that however many years ago. If you think you can, you can't. And if you think you can't, then you can't. I want to share one more quote. I actually kind of did a quick search before I did this live. And if you know me, I am now this quote person. It's like, I love these quotes. So I'm going to share this one. I love this quote. There is an eagle in me that wants to soar, and there is a hippopotamus in me that wants to wallow in the mud. Carl Sandburg. In other words, you get to choose which one you're going to be. All right, I hope this is helpful. I know it's a little longer than normal. I really hope this is helpful to you. I see you there. Hi, thank you for watching. Drop a comment, like, share, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe. Have a great Friday or whatever day it is. All right, love doll. Bye.